like I'm doing this at home. If that's an Australian, I probably fall off the bike. That was the footage from my very first 3-minute critical power test. Have you guys ever done 3-minute critical power test? I guess many of you have done 20-minute FTP tests or ramp tests, but not critical power test. I will explain how to analyze the data later, but first, have a look at my first 3-minute critical power test. I think I've got the program here. I just wrote it on the TrainingPeaks. Let's go. I found some problems with 20-minute FTP test, or even worse, 1 hour time trial. First, I can't really do 1 hour time trial regularly, and 20-minute tests as well. Quite often, if I'm not mentally fully prepared for it, my mind gives up. So it gets too long, then towards the end it goes back up, or it's not a good presentation of my threshold. I looked into some options from practical point of view, and yeah, 3-minute test, critical power test. There are mainly 3 different ways of checking critical power. I think this all-out approach is quite good, practical. The thing is, it doesn't really matter how good the test is if we, the ordinary people, cannot actually do the test to accurately track or regularly do it easily. Then there's no point. There's one point we need to be really careful, because if the starting gear ratio is kind of wrong, then it doesn't really reflect the critical power properly. Kind of obvious, but that's something we have to be careful. I assume you guys kind of know your FTP, like runabout. You can try out the FTP at your preferred cadence. This test can be done if you've got a fluid resistance turbo trainer and power meter. So it's quite easy to do it at home. And of course, if you have access to something like TrainingPeaks, you can write the training or test up on a platform. And follow that, I put a bit of warm up with tiny bit of sub threshold kind of higher intensity. I think I'm going to test my cadence just in case, because this is the first time. If the test is done properly, you can get 2 important parameters from the test. One is obviously critical power, and also another one is W prime. W prime, it's like a good indicator of how much and how long and how many times kind of repetitively you can go over the critical power. But I suppose for triathletes, the most important thing is critical power, unless you're pros. I'm going to try higher intensity, so I get to know that how it's like at my FTP level. I think I know where my gear should be. I set it a little bit heavier because I tend to have slower cadence. It has come back down to the easier phase. Another 3 minutes. Bit nervous because it's odd out, and if the gear ratio is not right, might not get the right result. I suppose it's way better than wasting 20 minutes or 1 hour. With this kind of test I can do in my easy weeks. Although I've read that this test is physically extremely demanding, I'd rather get a accurate number than just wasting my 20 minutes not going anywhere just because I'm tired from work or something. If you haven't recovered enough before the test from high intensity exercise, then the W number tends to get affected, but critical path should be okay. 30 seconds. Twenty. Wish me luck. 10. It's gonna beep. I'm not gonna talk anymore. You might have heard the cracking sound twice. My saddle went down twice because I've never applied that kind of force to my saddle. Like 90 seconds in, halfway through, I was feeling lactic acid building up so much so quickly. Not in my legs, but also in arms as well. Towards the end I couldn't keep my eyes open. Like I'm doing this at home. If that's an Australian, I probably fall off the bike. After I finish this, I'm gonna open the data on Training Peaks and check the average of the last 30 seconds. That's my critical power. I don't think my peak power is that high. I think I saw 800 something with 3-second average. Oh, now I see a spacer for my cleat on the floor. I think that must have fell off. I guess this is a good test to test the equipment as well. I've actually never pushed this hard on a bike in my life. I'm feeling it in my lungs. It's a burning sensation of a craving for oxygen. It's like 5 minutes after the test, I'm still above my aerobic threshold. I mean my heart rate is above aerobic threshold, which I tested with blood lactate. I think for checking aerobic threshold, for me it's easier to really see it with blood lactate level. Maybe I should do a video on that. I got a feeling this just must be quite hard for someone who's not really used to high intensity intervals. You may not even get accurate data because your body just doesn't know how to move at such high intensity. I do high intensity sessions quite frequently, but still this sort of above VO2 max kind of output, I don't do that. It's still burning. If you're doing that for the first time, don't do it alone. Make sure you do that when someone's at home, especially if you older than 45 or even 40, or even if you're young, if you're not used to training sessions, just don't bother doing it. It's gonna be a waste of time and also dangerous. You might want to have a bucket right next to it because you might need to puke. That's it. Good. Just under 30 minutes. Done. Now you're looking at the data from the test which I did on the 30th of January 2021 on Training Peaks. These are the parts where I did a warm-up. I did 9 minutes easy, then 3 minutes below threshold. During this phase, I adjusted my gear ratio because it is really important to have the right gear setup when you start the 3-minute critical power test. What I used was, at my threshold, I was pedaling at 65 RPM. So even if I go really fast at the beginning, I won't run out of gears. If you don't have this gear ratio right, you are going to have a problem in this part. Then that's going to affect the rest of the test. This is a 3-minute part. I had the max power was 853 watts and my heart rate went up to 182 BPM. So now I'm going to look at the most important part of this test, roughly the last 30 seconds of the 3 minutes. And if you look at the average, that's 261 watts. That is my critical power, and I can use this instead of FTP. I can say this is my lactic threshold. I haven't tried this outside, but as I said in the video, I don't recommend you to do it if you haven't done a few times indoor first. I will do it outdoor when I train, mainly outdoor, and of course before the race, because the race will be outside. We try to do our training as scientific as possible, but without accurate data, it won't work. So this is some of my efforts to keep it practical and still doing correctly and frequently. If you like the video, please subscribe, like, and hit the bell for more videos like this. See you in the next video.